My name is Jason Frisby. J Frizz is what they call me, and in some capacities, I go by DJ Frisby. Originally coming from Willingboro, New Jersey, I've been down here in Atlanta in the poetry scene for quite some time now. From being a poet, to a DJ, to a event producer, and now creating this documentary, Living in a Renaissance, I have witnessed so many great moments and been exposed to such incredible talent that I never would have dreamed of, and that I'm sure no place else in the country can offer like Atlanta. The Harlem Renaissance back in the 1920s had a collection of incredible black minds that came from all over the country, and all kinds of entrepreneurs migrated into that one spot. Now here in this generation, it's like we're doing the reversal of the migration. Everyone is coming back home, back down south. And now Living in a Renaissance is to showcase the incredible talent that has all formed down here in this one spot. And the title is Living in a Renaissance, for living in because we are still currently making the history. A for Atlanta, and Renaissance because Atlanta is like the new Harlem Renaissance. So what I want to do is start off by showing you around the city and giving you an example of some of the art form and some of the craft that we do, and what we all put into creating something like Living in a Renaissance.
We're not reflecting on works of the past, not looking back on previously laid tracks. We're mortals amongst living legends, still alive, still building up stats. The history we see is what's current. Waves of influence are crashing upon our shores. Droplets of inspirational mist seeping into our pores. Energetic auras in the room reflect more than light off the moon, with minds that travel deep as ocean floors. In our current day civilization, the power of thinking is fading. Instant and overreaction is steadily replacing any kind of patience, general wisdom, or rationalization. With what the other forms of speech have become, with the effect to dumb it down by the concentrated system, spoken word is the last real and raw form of expression and lyricism. Not everyone cares for the general mental. Most will recite what's falsified like it's inconsequential. Takes work to create unique thought through developmental, so we'll temporarily use what's available without getting attached, changing the owner of our beliefs like a rental. Black Thought said, if you ain't speaking your life, your rhyme's adopted. Not painting the picture of the particular topic renders our gifts useless and blinds the optics. Most of us is moving with no sense of direction. We out here choosing to fly with no radar detection. Reckless actions done with no form of discretion. We gotta make a way for the next generation and protect them by presenting our future projections. There's history that we're shaping, and there is a new renaissance. Reversal of the great migration, and the South has a response. Movement and activity of the 1920s produced entrepreneurs that proved we were worthy, and the instant impact exemplified black creativity. Talent everywhere, but the A is the only place in the country with such a collection of artists that can shape the history. Understand that legacies aren't preserved in aluminum foil. To protect what we've done, we need stronger material. Since we move people with word and performance, we need audio and video, so a documentary was recorded to serve as a time capsule. We got the resumes, we got the credentials, don't have the legendary names, but we got the potential. Our work lifts the game, we're so influential, so being known to future generations is completely essential. This is one moment in time, can live by the words of Whitney. We keep the art pure, remove the waste, function as the game's kidney. Making current history, we need to live on in memory, so the world needs a project like Living in a Renaissance, the documentary, the documentary, the documentary, the documentary.
We're now in an Atlanta Renaissance. All right. And what that means is that we're right on the heels of the Harlem Renaissance. All right. So as we see and as we participate in this vibration, you can tell from the clothing to the black business owners that have these wonderful open mics and featured performers to come in from night to night. Everything from the different movies that are filmed here, the instrumentalists, like we're in a space that Outkast made famous, the Dungeon Family. All right, so you have poets that's in that space that's kind of hiding in the wings to do their thing, and there's a feel right now. In the 1920s, it was all about the dress. It was all about having a good time and also seeking success in another area, having a migration from the South up to the North and into the Midwest, finding a better way. But there's been a reversal of that migration. So now you got people coming back home. They're coming back to grandma's house. They're coming back to that Southern cooking. They're coming back to a vibration that's warm, with open arms. All right. So this Atlanta Renaissance is something special. We're right in the midst of it, and it's to be received. It's to be appreciated. It's to be noticed as the next leg of the Renaissance right here in the South.
Word. Like there was literally somewhere to go like almost every night of the week. So like there was of course there was Apache on Sunday night. There was some spot on Monday night. Well, back when I started, Cocktails was at Irish Bread and 5 Points when 5 Points was still around. So I think that was like a Wednesday night or a Thursday night. But so there was a lot of places to go, and like every night of the week you could find something spoken word related to do. I think I finally got into my groove and found my voice around 2005, 2006. And so, yeah, around that time it was pretty busy. Like there was always somewhere to go, always somewhere to perform at. There was always some opportunities to make some money doing what I do. So yeah, it was a good time back then. When like I said, after I found my voice, and then when I started getting special requests to do stuff, and then when I started, winning awards and winning slams and all that stuff, that was at the time where it became okay. So, not to say that it's, of course not to say that it's all about money and it's all about finances, but money is nice. Does pay bills.
I think so.
It's gas in the car, which you kind of need now. It's gas, $70 to fill up today. Anyway, so it got to the point where it's like, okay, so there is a certain value in what I do, and I don't necessarily want to say devalue, but I think it got to a point where it was less benefit for me to just go to the open mic because somebody asked me to come, and knowing the level that I perform at, so I still gotta pay this $5 a park, and I still gotta pay this $15 to get in, and I still gotta pay this $10 for this water and ice. I'm sorry, Hennessy and Coke that I was supposed to have. It got to the point where it's like, okay, like I said, there's a certain value in what I do, and in certain instances I expect to be compensated for what I do. There are people that I owe a great debt to, people like you, and I started out with Cocktails, so him, Abyss, Malik Salam has a spot, and he's one of the artists that I just adore. If those guys say, hey, Infrared, come, I'm coming. Because, those were the guys that paved the way for me. Those were the guys that I looked up to when I started. So, I'm not going to look at them like, hey, Infrared wants to get paid. Like, no, they created this avenue for me.
Delta, don't expect to leave the airport.
Yes.
What poem is that? What poem is that? My goodness.
That is...
We can edit it out.
Let's be honest. Ashanti stands for a singer having a need to irritate. Let's be honest. Delta stands for don't expect to leave the airport. Let's be honest. MARTA stands for making Africans run through Atlanta. Let's be honest. Ford stands for fix or repair daily found on road dead or fucked on a raw deal. So let's be honest. That's where that came from.
We've got it. All right.
So you've been like a foundation for so many of us, myself included, that have come after you. who were some of the people that you might have looked up to, or some of the people that had the name before you?
You talking about far as in Atlanta?
Yeah.
Oh man! So when I got here, I was fortunate enough to kind of fall in with a great group of people who are my peers now. And at the time when I first got here, they were, like you said, these were the people that I looked up to, like my man Abyss and Malik Salam and John Good. These are people, when I got here, they were already practiced. So I was trying to follow, you know, not necessarily in their footsteps, but what they've trailed, you know, the trail they blazed. I'm trying to, you know, find my path in that too.
And one of the important places has definitely been the Apache.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Important enough that Spring and Third movie got made out of it.
Absolutely.
So just, I guess, you made a whole movie about it, but just a little bit of what your feelings about Apache is.
Well, you know, like I said, this is why I kind of picked the area. The first time I walked in here, you know, originally it was called the Yin Yang. When I got here, it was the Apache. But from the first few minutes I walked in, I knew it was something. It was something special.
Yeah.
And it only became more special over time. You know what I mean? And you know, as you can see, and you maybe even hear, there's a lot of construction and a lot of new growth going around the city. So at the time, I had kind of seen the writing on the wall, and I knew this place was special to me, and it was special to a whole bunch of other people, in the exact same way that it was special to me. And I thought it was important that we document that, because it was not just, like I said, this building is a continuation of something that was birthed in the 90s, you know what I'm saying? And even, like I said, even my inspiration to come down here from Indiana in the early 2000s was the energy and everything that was special going on in the city of Atlanta in the mid and early 90s.
What is it about this place, do you think, that's made it known outside of Atlanta then?
Well, that's a good question. So, you know, from the artsy part of me, is the place is magical. You know what I'm saying? You know, and that magic is spread. But realistically, because this building did mean so much, people like myself and Abyss and my homeboy Red Storm and a lot of other poets and artists and other artists and singers and all type of things have traveled the country, and this is the spot people talk about. You know what I mean? So the word of mouth advertising for this particular building is probably unmatched, because it's special to so many people who have gone out to expand beyond 285 and take the spirit of this building with them. And when those people come to Atlanta, they want to experience this place. You know what I mean?
So this, I don't know if it'd be right to say this is like the centerpiece of this culture, I guess. It might be able to say that.
I would definitely say it was a hub, particularly when it was here, because although there was all kind of other places, you know, people doing this stuff too, this was the place where you knew you was going to see everybody. It was going to be like the nucleus. This was going to be the hub. So yeah, I would definitely say this building would definitely serve as like a nucleus of the creative culture here in Atlanta.
So you've been one of the essential figures in the Atlanta poetry scene. Your spot has definitely been home to a lot of people. How did you get involved with the poetry scene?
Well, we've been here for 16 years, and poetry was the first event that we actually started here at Airland Grind. I just saw that it was a community here in Atlanta for that, and actually it fit in very nicely with the theme of what we were trying to do when we first opened, which is really build community, give people a place to express themselves, give them a place to gather, to talk about things, and to really, just give them a platform and a stage to share.
Well, I'm actually a musician, so I was a singer and musician here in Atlanta. So I'm part of the creative arts community. So anything that has to do with like poetry, music, comedy, art, like even the art on the walls, are local artists that are getting their artwork out and getting it known and stuff. So anything like that we support at Cat's Cafe. What I did notice, it had been like like an outlet for people to really just get out what was on their heart. You know, so many of us marching, being activists and stuff, so I thought that the poetry during that time was essential. Like, we needed that just so that we could say what was on our hearts, what was on our minds and stuff. So I think that really played a big part in some of the fantastic pieces that people wrote and recited in here.
As I've heard, there used to be shows every night of the week, you know, but Apache is like the centerpiece of all that. What was so special about Apache, especially the old original one?
The energy. Well, before Apache was Yin Yang. Mm-hmm. So the energy was much greater for Yin Yang. I mean, you would see people in there sitting Indian style on the floor, and you know, it was something real and special for that, and that's what got me into it. We were family.
I could create in a hailstorm mixed with a hurricane-o with, a hurricane-o, yes, a hurricane-o, a hurricane and a volcano and a tornado mixed together, all of that shit at the same time. I will write a poem, I will paint a picture. Real talk. Like,
so being such the history buff that you are, coming into this area, what do you think is special about this current time period that we're in? Because it's not like we're looking back on what everyone else has already done. We're currently creating the history. We are creating a modern day Renaissance that's here. What do you think is special about this place and this time period?
man, for one, you already said it. Atlanta is the melting pot. Everybody is coming to Atlanta to express themselves, to broaden their horizons, to grow their craft, to touch people's hearts, to save somebody's life. Everybody is flocking to Atlanta for an opportunity. Some people are flocking to Atlanta because they think they're gonna make money overnight, you know. But this is where everybody is coming, and I think it's special because of the fact that it's a melting pot. But I also think it's special because, man, almost everybody in Atlanta who calls himself a spoken word artist is fucking sick. And it makes you have to be sicker so that you can, like, we set a standard and you have to meet that standard type shit, like. And I think that that's what makes this so dope, because we push one another too. Like, we really push one another. Some people are very, like, you know, standoffish and dog eat dog. But the people that I'm around, man, vibrate off of nothing but love. Like, you come around my peoples, man, you come around us, you gonna feel nothing but love. And we gonna make you wanna be better. And not only are we gonna make you wanna be better, we're going to actually tell you how to be better. Like, some people just stroke your ego and shit. We're not here to stroke your ego. We're here to make you better, because when you're better, we're better. Like, you're not really good. In the words of my good brother B-Rock, you're not really good if you can't teach it to somebody else. So,
what is special about performing in Atlanta? You know, I think there definitely is something special about performing in ATL. Like, you know, I've performed it all across the country, you know, East Coast, West Coast, even some parts of Canada. But there's definitely something special about performing in front of a good Atlanta crowd. Like, it's like this special energy, you know, this special vibe in Atlanta. And I think a lot of that comes from how diverse the crowds are. You know, you're gonna get a variety of people from, you know, different backgrounds, different walks of life, and I think that really adds something to it. And I think another big part of the vibe is that an Atlanta crowd is there to have a good time, you know. They wanna be entertained, and you're usually gonna get a smart audience at the same time. You know, I've been places where it seemed like the audience was just there because they wanted a good cry, or, you know, at the other end of the spectrum, they just weren't grasping some of the things the poets were putting down. But for the most part, you don't have to worry about that in Atlanta. You know, you're gonna get a good crowd. The crowd's gonna be with you, and they want to see you succeed. You know, you're not gonna get that everywhere. You know, also, so, you know, having a crowd that wants to see you do well is a special thing, and that's definitely a big part of what an Atlanta crowd is.
Game. You know, there's probably people out here already doing it, but a lot of these establishments, you know, they pay for bands, they, you know, Friday, Saturday entertainment, and poetry and spoken word is entertainment also. They have budgets for those things. They create a budget for me and what we bring, because we bring a value to your establishment as well. You know, so with that being said, I have never had a problem or an issue going into an establishment saying this is what it takes for me to bring a show to you, and this is what I can bring. You know, we have followings, we have, you know, we have Facebook, Instagram, we have all these different methods that people follow us, and we bring energy and we bring crowds to establishments. So with that being said, then we have as much of a value as a band has. So you got budget for them, budget for me.
So where do you come here from?
I'm from here. Born and
You're
raised.
actually one of the few that
This is my grandparents' house. I'm from here.
What is just the Atlanta environment like?
Culture. Atlanta is not just a city, it's a culture. From socks and slides to Shawty, Cascade on Sunday nights, Atlanta is a culture. It's a way of life. It's different. Everything's here. Only thing we miss in our casinos and beaches.
It's like Atlanta is like the new Harlem Renaissance. What do you think it is that brings everybody around this area?
Well, one, the civil rights movement in Atlanta was crazy. I'm talking Dr. King, you know what I mean? So it's like a black Mecca. And if it's a Mecca for us, of course other people are gonna, if we're safe here in a sense, which not really anywhere we're safe, but safe here, then anybody should be safe here. It's becoming a melting pot at this point. Whatever you want to do is here, especially within I would say the creative community, because it goes beyond poetry, as you can see.
So when I got to know you, it was 23 and Masterpiece. What's behind the names for you?
23 to Masterpiece. Well, the number 23 is very significant to me. It's the day of December that I was born. It's also my grandparents' wedding anniversary, which is the trip part. And also the number 23, when you add 2 and 3 together, gives you the number 5. The number 5 is the number of freedom, which I think my art definitely expresses. That's something you can't put a leash on. It's just, it's out there. And as far as the masterpiece, I'm mastering my piece.
It reminds me of the Harlem Renaissance, how that started was in the 1920s. The Great Migration went up from the South. Now it seems like everybody coming back down in Atlanta, they stumping ground. So it's beautiful to see all this added energy, these added colors, if you will, coming to like remix the scene. And you know, everybody contribute where they contribute, and it's elite at all levels. Everywhere you look around, we learn from each other and sharpen the left and right. So I'm appreciative. Poetry itself was meant to be like Nikki Giovanni said, like fixing a pothole in the street. Like everybody might have rolled on this one street 1,000 times but never noticed this pothole. Whereas if you come in for the culture, you're supposed to say something that's gonna help people figure out some in that nookie cranny space that we don't often get to talk about in commonplace conversation. Believe in yourself. You consider, if you want to be a poet or you want to do this poetry thing, especially in Atlanta, believe in yourself. Know that you're enough. Know that there's a lot of high elite talent everywhere you look, but you will also be one of those elite talents as long as you can stay at the craft and keep digging, because it's the only way we all got here.
You got an inner riot telling you to get up and break the silence, take a step, try to intercept, try to break the mold. Remember what the past untold. Learn from mistakes, reiterate, back up, let's try again. I'm looking out for true friends, I can count them all on one hand. Trust the chosen few that understand and comprehend what I'm going through. Try to find the meaning in the looking glass I'm looking through. Can you see the inner grief that's there, looking back at me, wondering how to bring myself up out of this rut? Take a step out of line before my time runs completely out. I hear them shout across the fence with the greener grass. I try to sleep to let it pass, but it never fails. Dreams turn into fairy tales. Fear tells me not to go. What about an obstacle? What about what people think? What about my future goals? Shall I let them slip away? Wait another day, then the way to escape might be gone. I'd sing a sad song. Can't go along with what might have been. I want my now to be remembered in the end. Let me send this message out to you. Rise up from where you are to plan for what you could do. I'm Lady B the Poet, and I was in the midst of all the quiet.
Both of y'all have become essential pieces of the culture down here. If anyone said, you didn't expect to hear that.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's easier if an outsider is going to tell me, I guess, because I don't realize a lot of stuff people tell me, and apparently y'all didn't know how important y'all are. If anyone says for the culture, what does that phrase mean to you?
For the culture means to do it for what your art is. It's like I'm a spoken word artist, so when I do it for the culture, I make opportunities for other spoken word artists. I make opportunities for other poets. It's like on his side, he's more like a hip hop and more like, the music side or whatnot, or R&B, rap. So it's kind of like when you do it for the culture, you do it for what your talent is and expend your opportunities to the other people in your industry. What does it mean to you?
You already said it.
Well, I'm glad we agree.
For the overhead, you see the music, the production, all of that. But we have to make sure that the equipment and everything is up to date. Everything sounds the way it needs to be.
Nothing's broken.
What's the non-glamorous side that we got to go through that a lot of the average people don't see?
Woo! So many. So now you're trying to ask me to be vulnerable. Let me see. A lot of poets, including myself, we might be outgoing on the stage or in front of people, but we're really introverts. We're really quiet. We deal with, we're of course emotional and sensitive. That's why we're artists. That was one of our outlets and ways to express. Just being able to balance everything. There's so many. You see, my mind is all over the place thinking about that particular question because that's how it is. It's scattered. We scattered everywhere. So it's like you're one person, but it's like you're scattered everywhere.
Definite balance that comes into it. So is that something that is really important to you?
Yes, it is important. I'm glad you asked. So one thing about me is I don't like being boxed in. It might be the Sagittarius in me. I don't like being put in a box. I don't want people to think they can define me or think they can predict my actions.
I don't know what to play when you're coming up because it's like I don't know what to do. I don't know what I should be expecting, so I'm just like, I don't know what to play.
You don't know what I'm gonna say. That's funny, and that's good. That's good because not only that means if you're thinking that as a DJ, then that means a lot of people in the audience is saying, "Oh, we don't know what poetic pleasure is going to give today." So my goal has been accomplished.
And the most important question of all: how did you know we should wear burgundy today?
So what I want to say is great minds think alike. So I feel like when you are in tune, it'll show up. And it just happened to show up in what color we're wearing, which is dope. That is so dope. I feel like we're in alignment. So that is amazing.
If you don't make any of the part of the documentary, that would be As far as everyone comes to the show, it's a great show. Everyone has this incredible time. The host is great. All the talent. You always got the great features. You got the flyer to get them there. The DJ is average, but then everybody else, you know what I'm saying? But y'all always make such a great show. But there's a much, I don't want to say dark side to it, but there's a whole side that everybody don't get to see. All the work that goes into
the work side.
Yeah.
The dark side is a work side.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what you were talking about before. With the love. Most people don't realize until they've actually run a show what it takes to run a show. People just think you just decide when you want to have a show, put some flyers out, and You post on social media and the crowd just show up. It's like,
Yes.
it ain't quite that simple. And anybody that's run a show, even if they only done maybe 1 or 2 shows, it's like, all right, your first show or your first couple shows might be like that. Because everybody's like, oh, it's a new show, maybe it's in a new location, that people haven't been to before, so people will come and check you out.
Yeah.
But after that, then the work starts because you got to build.
Yeah.
Like retention, that's the hard part. So you got to think about everything that goes into the promotion and everything that goes into making sure that the right people get paid. I believe everybody, that is a part of putting a show together should get paid. Because that's work. I mean, especially you see these gas prices lately.
Everybody's bringing something different because we're all from different places, so our experiences and everything is different. And like you said, if you meet 10 people here, only 2 of them probably are from here. So it's so many different experiences. People are learning new things. People are seeing things from a different perspective. It's just the culture, you know what I'm saying? It's like everybody's just bringing so much here. It's like a big melting pot, but it's a pot that's attractive. It's a pot that draws you. So it's just the diversity. Everything I do, I move in love. I feel like when you move in love and you move from a genuine perspective and your heart is good, all that other stuff is gonna come. But as far as how you move, whatever I do, I always move in love. And when you move like that, the universe will just take care of you, period. Yeah, just that empowerment part, and inspiring people and just getting people to their best life, whatever that looks like, and doing the work. That's what my art represents. Everything that I do, you're gonna come away with something. You're gonna feel inspired. You're gonna get that push that you need. You're gonna get that fire lit underneath you. You're gonna know your worth. You're gonna know who the fuck you are, even if you didn't know. You know what I mean? And just getting to your best life, because tomorrow's not promising anybody. So we gotta do it today, and it's urgent. And so I feel like that's what everything that I do, my plays, my books, all of that, all of my writing, is something good. It's like you can't do a smothered pork chop without the gravy, and I'm that good ass seasoning.
The phrase or whatever, the saying for the culture, what does that mean to you?
Honestly, I think it's phrases overly used. Because some people say it and it really don't be down for the culture. So I think it's like becoming cliche. Although, if you're genuine about it for the culture, is you are a proponent of the art. You support the art. And those who have that genuine love. So every time you go out to perform in front of people, when you're talking about it, you give it 100% effort. To me, that's what the culture is, when you are genuine about it. You know what I'm saying? So, if you have a group of poets, shout out to VIP. That collective right there, I know they're genuine. There are people that are for the culture. You know what I'm saying? But just random people, you should be cool with him because
right.
We ain't doing that around here. I'm telling you, egos. See, look, let me take care of check y'all egos. Now, I tell you to your face. Y'all know who y'all are. I say what I say, and I stand on every syllable.
That's fantastic.
Man, look. You know what, Jay Frisby, you nice guy, you cool. But you don't want to say, these dudes be having egos. I don't know about the women, I don't get into this stuff. I've been to open mic where somebody said, I don't want to go on after him. Or let him go on first.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of that.
Look, I don't care. I've said it, put me on stage before or after any poet on this planet. And the crowd will be like, I remember that.
That's great.
I favorite poet. When I leave, they gonna know. Dude up there with the ascot.
Yes.
You know who that is. So, yeah. You open that can of worms. So.
Atlanta is culture rich. It is so diverse, and everything starts in Atlanta. In my opinion, we are one of the most influential cities in the world. And what is special about the creatives here is that, I'm sorry other cities, but we have the best creatives here in Atlanta, and that's because we constantly are upping the standard. When you practice with people who are excelling in what they do, then you naturally begin to excel in what you do. So Atlanta is like this petri dish of excellence. And especially when it comes to the creative, the independent artist, the poet, we are top of the line, and I will stand by that with every part of me. I am a product of what it means to have this culture, the creative culture, black excellence, because it is, Atlanta is like kind of like Wakanda. Let's just be real here. And so for me, for the culture, means it represents the richness in hip-hop, in black excellence, and I'm really excited to be included in that because I'm like this anomaly. And so for you to say that I have highly influenced any part of the culture, I think that it's opposite. I think that I have been highly influenced by the culture. I think that it's our time. The art of spoken word has always been. Storytelling has always been. But the world has never been as ready for us as the world is right now. If we're not making an impact, then the words are just pretty. And I'm not into that. We're not into that. There's nothing that a good rhyme can do for me if it's not changing somebody's life, creating an influence, teaching somebody. If it wasn't for all that, this wouldn't be the craft for me. But the world is waiting for us to speak. For some reason, we're inspired in spirit. And we inspire, which means we give that which we have received. For me, the world's ready for us. And I can't wait for some of the people before me and the people after me to go out there and just take this world by the balls, because it's waiting for us to do that. We're exactly what they need. We're the medicine.
It is really difficult for a lot of us to really be ourselves, which you would think the stage would be like the easiest spot for it probably, but not everybody can do what you do. I remember the last show of yours that I came to, you came in the back of the convertible with no shirt on, and it's just like, who does that? So it's like, where does that freedom come from, man? Where does that mentality of just whatever, this is what I'm gonna do? Doesn't matter what people think, doesn't matter what people say or how they look at me. Ain't no way in the world I'm doing that. So how do you pull off something like that?
My truth is come from not doing that to being somebody afraid to voice their opinion because maybe it doesn't matter or maybe they'll think I'm whatever. For being so confined, I don't know myself, so let me be cool. Let me be the cool guy. Not do too much, not do too little, just be in the middle, just be cool. It comes from that. So wanting to just live with more passion and just be freer in whatever we're doing. Yeah, let's pull up bumping Gil Scott here on the back of the convertible with my shirt off hosting the show. I don't even have muscles. let me do that.
My goodness.
So it comes from not doing that, honestly.
All right.
For the culture, it doesn't mean shit to me, to be honest with you. Because I always say I'm not for the culture, I am the culture. You know, like I'm not gonna, I guess you could say it's like a self-care type of thing. You know, I seek and, go about taking care of the community because I understand that, I am you, you are me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and with that said, anything I do for myself, I know is ultimately to enrich the communities that I bring value to. And I'm about to kind of get into my rhetoric a little bit. There's a difference between spoken word artists and poets. I feel like poets are more likely to take advantage of. Can you just think of like the way it sounds, poet? Oh yeah, he's just poet. Spoken word artist.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Put some respect on that motherfucking name, you know. So being treated as such, I move a certain way, you know, just by stepping into that. My respect for myself has gone up so high that I don't even like accept anything less. I had or whatever. And I'm going to throw the price out there. It was $100. They was offering $100 for me to travel to another state.
Yeah.
You feel me? But I'm cool because, like I said, my man of my word, it's cool. You couldn't put up $50.
Oh, that's tough.
I holler at you. You feel me? But you know what I'm saying? We get so caught up in the opportunity or the exposure or man, fuck all of that.
Right.
It's like, damn, it was $50 to get Jay-Z. That's what happened, basically. You know what I'm saying? That's what's gonna end up happening. He's like, damn, like it was only $50 and I would have had him as my on my resume. You feel me? Like, and that's how I look at it. It's not like I'm adding you to my resume. No, I'm being added to your resume. It's an equal exchange. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta understand that that's the type of value and the type of power that we have. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm not for the culture. I am the culture. You're inviting the culture to your event. You know?
That's great.
Yeah, man. Fuck them. For real.
In that, actually, when you write, you have to write while you're feeling that said emotion. If you try to write afterwards, it's like trying to catch a flame in the wind. The wind gonna blow it out, but now you're just kind of like trying to recollect how you felt. Nah, you gotta write in that, because through that emotion and that sincerity and that the power of that emotion, you're gonna say, and it's gonna spark a whole bunch of other ideas. It's like the way the pistons run in the car. They're going. As opposed to putting on cruise control.
Part of this depression that I've had for like 30 plus years is like I've only the last 2 years or so I've been really trying to get out of it, and reading your book, as I told you, reading your book definitely elevated me into that, and like I finally got an understanding of where it's from, and you know what I'm saying, my dad was involved, and I told him what the whole issue was, and you know what I'm saying, so it's like I've had like 30 years of darkness, and then your book, not single-handedly, but your book definitely helped bring me out of 30 years of what I've been going through. So you know what I'm saying?
Well,
so I can never
thank you. To hear that,
definitely, man.
Makes doing it worth it. It's valuable.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times we sit on a lot of things. We get caught up in this. It's about me. And I got to make sure I get mine, or I preserve this. These are experiences and lessons that when you're a person of service, you recognize that it may be beneficial to somebody else to just get that story, those lessons. All right, I'll tell you.
All right, I'll change it up.
No, you got it. I don't want from nothing, baby. Hurry up, we got some shade.
Every once in a while, when you get like really experienced with all that, you're gonna see every type of person in the crowd. You're gonna get, especially the people right up front, are gonna be the ones with the head down, buried in the phone.
Right.
They don't sit in the middle; they sit up front somewhere.
Right, for sure.
And the talking starts in the back, and it just waves its way up to the front. So how do you grab the audience? How do you get people's attention?
I usually like to by making sure my introduction resonates with the audience. I'm usually gonna start off by saying like a disclaimer, like, yo, this is about to be some shit. So you need to fucking listen. And then commanding voice. I was used to yelling in the army and shit. So whether they catch it in the introduction, they'll definitely catch it off the first time.
Like, especially in poetry, I be unapologetic. That's your stage. It's your verse. It's your piece. So when you do stumble, nobody will know until you let them know. They're like, oh, I'm messing up. They don't have to know that. Just take some time, take a pause. Hold on, y'all, hold on. I got you. You know, wait, no, I know what it is. Hold on. My favorite one is what I say. And in the they start to tell me what I said, and that makes me feel like I can remember the rest of what I needed to say right after. You gotta build muscle memory. I'll listen to myself all day, every day to complete a piece. That is smart, to have a piece in the backup that explains that you just forgot what you said. And a lot of times I don't complete my pieces in a structured manner. It's a little unorthodox for when I do stumble, because we're human. When I do forget, you could just go on to the next thing. Just go on to something that you do know.
Yeah, it's crazy. It seems that you can live in a world that submits to all your dreams, where men step to the plate and reveal their inner king, and girls demand respect because they don't lack self-esteem. And ain't no stressing over no viruses and diseases. Everybody's a genius. Everything is convenient. Satellites be beaming. That favor be overreaching. Only thing we pledge allegiance to is the peace that passes understanding. That's facts. I sprinkle medicine in your music just so you can relax and put your feet up like there is no gravity. You are so powerful, baby. Go and create a galaxy. My duty as a queen is to emit good energy. Pull up on the scene. Don't know what's got an enemy. When you see me leaning, I'm floating to the cosmos. We ain't scared of black holes no more. We got the tools to conquer anything.
Believe it or not, it's not easy to do both sides of it. If people want to do poetry, they want to write a song, and they want to just write, whatever, raps and all that, or R&B or anything. Those are like all different writing techniques. But yet, you can pull off both of them though.
Can
I believe from what I've heard,
Yeah.
What's the difference?
I'm not gonna say it's exactly the same. The only difference is you got a lot more freedom when it comes to spoken word. You don't have to fit in a pocket. You can say what you want. You can rhyme, you can not rhyme. It doesn't matter. Rap or music comes with a few extra constraints, but that makes the challenge, I think, that much more fun for me. You should probably rhyme. You do have to fit in certain pockets. You do have a time measure. You got all that. So it's fun, but yeah, just having fun fitting into the parameters to make a dope beat. Yeah, what's the difference? I'd say the work starts way before you get to the stage. Practicing my butt off. That's what I do. I work my butt off behind the scenes, making sure I memorize the words and the performance and the delivery, so that when I do get to that moment, I'm not so nervous, I'm not so shaky, and I can command the attention and the audience. Once I'm sure of myself, I can make you believe it. But first, I have to work on me. So I think that work happens before I get to the stage. And then once I get there, all that comes out, all that hard work you get to see.
What made y'all realize, not so much like the traditional how did you meet story, but what made y'all realize that y'all needed each other? If you've come to that.
Okay. All right. Well, actually, we started out doing plays together. We both were separate artists at the time. And Doug had picked up the guitar.
Yeah.
And I think the rest is history. How do we?
You are one of the most, a word I never use, one of the most dynamic performers that we have. And you're like really free and open on stage. And it always reminds me of how, like Michael would say, the stage is the only time he can really be free and feel like himself and all those things. Is that how it is for you? Like where does such openness come from?
It just does, because I love performing. And to be somebody that is nervous as all the jankies before she gets behind that mic, and it's like to get up there and just, to know that this is what I love to do, even though it's like I said, it's nerve-wracking at first, but, I love it. And I love to be able to express it, it's just, even from the first time that I got on the mic, and it took a long time to kind of cultivate that. It was always a love for it, always.
And for Doug, I know when I see you up there, you're more of the silent, I guess, if I'm putting it the right way, more of the background player, I guess.
That's
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
So how was that? How was it easy for you to not need to be up front and to know that you're still half of the significance, I guess?
Because I'm naturally introvert, so it fits me to be right here playing guitar. I don't necessarily need to be up front. It's easy,
So I was a relative nobody out here, but it was the first event I ever put on, and I knew for sure I wanted you to be the feature of it. And without even knowing me all that well, you still agreed to do it. I think I asked you like 8 months in advance. So I'm like, how?
What made me do it?
More so, not just what, but more so like, how do you know which ones to take out of the different offers you got?
I burn sage. I keep the bullshit away from me. I can tell when the bullshit come, and you ain't like that.
That's great, man.
So I fuck with your spirit, first off.
The camera's on, right? Okay, good.
I fuck with your spirit, number one.
Yeah.
And trust me, I knew your backstory too, with your brother, the whole thing. So I'm looking at it, bro. Are you talking to a cat that's been through some losses? And you probably wouldn't know it because I keep pushing through. I'm just not responding emotionally right now. But you done been through some shit, bro, and I can identify with that.
That's great.
And sometimes all you need is somebody to just hear what you're doing, just support. So if I could just come through, and if my superpower is my performing, guess what? I'm finna come over here and save a life, bro. That's what I do. You know what I mean? Shit, a hero with no cake, goddamn. Right. Detroit made me, Jacksonville got me ready, and Atlanta put me on the map. So, it's one of them things where in order to be the best, you had to come up where the best are. So, I had to come over here, and when I came here, I met some of the beasts. I would have to say the John Goods, the Amir Suleimans, the Georgia Me, all of my peers that I run with right now, Tommy Bottoms, like we met along the way, Red Storm, we met along the way. It's kind of like the super friends. You know how you meet up, you're like, hey, you got a superpower? Hey, what's up? Hey, I know Professor X. Hey, let's go over here and get this shit right. You know what I'm saying? So the Grio's gonna tell the story. Yeah. This is why we told a story about yin yang first, because you gotta go back to the root. It was the yin yang. And when you look at what we were able to come up with, that story told itself. Trust me, do your Atlanta history and then you find out where we standing at. And you be like, well, damn. When you were coming down to Spring and 3rd, you had to be intentional while you went down there. It wasn't like a construction site. This shit was sketchy. I'm talking about chalk. Sketchy chalk. Like they about to, dead bodies, you might see some human feces over here, whatever. But then you hear this music and it made you forget about the turd you just walked over. Like, damn, that's a whole human waste. But, they got music up in here. So boom, you up in here doing what you're doing. That music soothes the savage beats. You go here to, basically it's like a hospital that has the right music to come cure you. If music cured you, a vibe cured you, a yin yang was the hospital. Definitely check out the movie Spring and 3rd because it's gonna let you know exactly, like it's almost like it's our guide stone. This how it had to happen. It wouldn't have happened without a Apache. You wouldn't have had like a Apache yin yang. You wouldn't have had an Outcast if it wasn't for yin yang. Because everything was the strip clubs. Everything was Uncle Luke, goddammit. But then you had some fearless poets. You got the Georgia Me's, the Georgia Me's, the Georgia Me's, the Georgia Me's, the Georgia Me's.
Being a hood girl from Atlanta, doing something like poetry, the hell? I discovered this place called Yin Yang, not for poetry, for life. I went there on a Thursday night and seen this band called The Chronicle. And I just seen all kinds of niggas, you know what I'm saying? In every kind of way they could be. And I was like, wow, this live music and this energy. So that was a space that I wanted to be in. And then I wrote a poem when I read it at Mecca. Got an amazing response. Got my mission that night. A girl came up to me and said she was gonna put some clothes on. And she said it was because of my poem. Yeah. And I knew I had the power to affect people. And in Atlanta, I got back to the poetry scene through Abyss. because I wasn't messing with them. I was like, they don't mess with me. And the bitch was like, I'm holding this slam. I want you to come. And I was like, I had just met him at 112. I was like, all right, shawty, I'm gonna come do your shit. And I did it, and that's been my partner in crime ever since, over 20 years ago. I want us to be strong. I want us to look out for each other. I want us to, if we have a problem, solve it, because we are leaders. Your word ain't shit if you ain't your word. So I need everybody not to be perfect, but to be righteous. Just to be righteous. Especially if you're gonna say you do this art form, but I need the world to understand that just because a person is a good poet don't mean they're a good person. You feel what I'm saying? So that's the thing about Atlanta and all the other scenes. You can feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like we have a more, and we cool. Just keeping it real, like real talk, like.
Being one of the central figures, and that's for sure. Like when I talk to Yo Sis, I talk to Verb, I talk to Tommy Bottoms, I talk to Abyss, and it's like everybody mentions something that you did for them, and it's like that's like the centerpiece of it. Because a lot of people are like, you know what I'm saying, this is me, I'm me, I'm self-made, all that kind of stuff. But so many people I talk to have all kind of filtered it back to you and filtered it back to Apache. In some way, those two came up on like basically everything. So I'm like, I guess, when did you know you had that position? I guess what is that like? What is that like when people are actually giving it up to you and not so cliquish that Atlanta has a reputation for sometimes?
Let me tell you something with the cliquish thing. That's crazy, because to me, you go to a certain spot. If you go into a spot all the time, them the people that you see at that spot. The same thing happened at a bar. Am I right? If you go to a bar every day, you get known. Everybody get to know you. You feel what I'm saying? So those are people that you chill with. And then as you become like, I'm gonna do this. This is my art. You got to go to other places. So then you meet other people. You go to these other places, but that don't mean you don't still socialize with them people from that spot or that side. You know what I'm saying? I know that we get that, but I really don't think it's a click thing. What it is an integrity thing. I'm not gonna fuck with you unless I know you for real about this. I mean, I'm gonna say, hey, how you doing, I'm not gonna invest in you unless I know you dedicated to this. This is like a gang, a mafia. Once you get in, you got to die out. I need to know what you're willing to do, because this is your word. You need to have a purpose. Another thing is, a lot of people don't understand, they do poetry, but it ain't got no purpose. I'm different. Everything I write has a result I want. You feel what I'm saying? And I align with people who have that same kind of purpose and mission. So I'm grateful that people acknowledge me for being an aid in their life, because they don't. Just to be mentioned along in their story, I'm grateful. Yo Sis, Tommy, Bird, and there's so many other people that when I read interviews and they mention me, I'm just like, they don't have to. There's so many people that I did so much for and they never mention me. That's great. Never. It's ego. It's okay though, because your ego will kill you. And that's why I ain't got to do nothing. Die, bitch. I have my own festival now. You know what I'm saying? It's going on its 14th year. A little black girl from Atlanta got a whole fucking festival. May 4th is Tamika Georgia Me Harper Day. That's great. And that's how it all came about. And I mean, I've been doing community work and been loving my city and representing my city in a mighty beautiful way all my life. I love this bitch. Like I'm like Atlanta born, Atlanta bred, and when I die, Atlanta dead. You understand me?
So on the poetry painting, what is the section that you have carved out? What's the stamp that you put on this?
Oh shit. I mean, I do what I do. I mean, that's a good one, man. I think I carved out a Tommy Bottoms lane, whatever that might be.
Because I know when I first was getting here, 2013, and I remember seeing so many flyers and everything about this guy with an eye patch for the educated gangster and everything.
Yeah.
I'm always seeing you on flyers in different states. So I'm thinking there's a whole nother world that you've opened up for a lot of poets beyond just going to open mic here and there in the city.
I mean, you know, I appreciate that, but brother, there's so many people that came before me, you know, and I'll take whatever, but trust me, there's a whole bunch of people out there was really grinding that made it to where there was something for me to do. But I was one little thing in a whole bunch of stuff.
I would say adulthood. The tenets of manhood and fatherhood, I believe, are the most consistent things that I talk about in my poetry. But it all goes back to adulthood and the fact that getting old is mandatory, but growing up is optional. And I want people to let go of their fucking childhood and give the shorties the opportunity to grow up with the proper guidance.
You know, it's one of those things where once you know better, you do better. And if you want to get something out of this thing, you got to have tunnel vision and be locked in. Like, I really want to change it, right? So what I did is I wanted to put stretch marks on our genre. So what I mean by that is when you see poetry, know that don't assume what you think it is. I'm way more than that. Whatever you think it was, I'm about 10 times more than that. You feel what I'm saying? So we make sure that we're pushing past that. So I guess my determination for excellence, man. I'm a Virgo, bro. You know what I'm saying? So we're dogmatic. You know what I'm saying? Think about Michael Jackson or Beyonce or whatever. Them couple of the famous Virgos that do this. But like a lot of times people look at you, why you doing all of that? Okay, well, I'm not you. I'm doing all of that because I'm putting pressure on my peers.
What's the stroke that you add to the poetry painting?
Man, you know, that's a great question. It's a hard question to answer.
Every once in a while, I get them.
Yeah. What would be my stroke, man? I would be a little red. I would be a little blue. You know, I just want to be. I don't necessarily need a section. I just want to blend.
That's great.
You know what I'm saying? I want to blend. I don't want anyone to typecast me as the host or just the poet.
Love. That's what I bring to the game.
If we're going abstract, I would just be a big ass heart. Right in the middle of it. Right in the middle of it. Giving everybody their blood, giving everybody their courage, giving everybody their love, you know, giving them life. So in this poetry scene, I hope to be the love. I pray I am the love that a lot of people have not had, and now that they have it, they exude it and give it to others and inspire others. I just hope that I'm able to continue to be that. Period. No matter how long I'm here, because that's what I am. I'm really grateful that my mother, shout out to Inez Harper, and my Uncle Cecil Parks, for loving me so much that I have this love that's just like this. Like, people don't even believe it. Like, she can't be for real. Yeah, I love like that, but you get wrong, I beat your ass, and it ain't no problem. Everybody understand it. That's why I had a reputation I have. It's like, George is nice, but don't fuck with her. She is nice, but don't fuck with her. And that's God. God love you, but when you get wrong, don't they got a wrath?
Of course.
What the hell you? I ain't no different.
Anything that's just on your mind I didn't go over?
Other than I am the exception to the motherfucking rules? Nah.
What color or what stroke do you add to this poetry painting?
I'm thinking about that organ yellow, that high vibrating yellow. I try to, anytime I do a poem, give a lot of passion, punch behind it, where it's not just the words, you can feel the depth of emotion behind it as well. So I've always tried to be the electrifying presence in any room, in whatever way. Maybe I'm clapping loud, maybe I'm dancing, maybe I'm projecting to the top of my voice, maybe I'm sitting down on the table next to somebody talking, trying to bring electrifying theatrics to it as well. I would say that's my stamp on the whole portrait. Wherever the little thunderbolt and lightning is, I'm somewhere over there.
The dynamic duo, the acoustic duo that you want on your set. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, just that.
multi-talented, you know, poetry,
spoken word, actors,
singing.
Yeah.
I don't dance
Like
as much as Breeze. You know, visual
oh, he
artist.
dances. He put on some house music. He dances.
Visual artist, yeah. He's just full package of goodness.
Right.
Yeah.
Next time I DJ, it's gonna be, and you're there all EMI.
Yeah, okay, let's do it.
Right.
Stamp that you've carved out on this painting of the poetry scene.
I can say I'm grateful to say I was able to host at Apache before it closed down. Perform at Apache before the original Apache, Yin Yang, whatever you want to call it. That's an honor. That's an honor, considering that like I looked up to this place. I looked up to the people that performed there, like on TV. You know, to be there in the same position, to be breaking bread and sharing conversations with these people. Blows my mind. Just the way things come full circle. So I'm just so grateful to be here.
I feel like I act as a bridge to so many areas that people aren't comfortable speaking about or people don't know about, like the military. I do have a lot of pieces about the military and insight on the military that civilians don't know about. And I could be that bridge. And also I'm bilingual. And I can fill them in on that aspect of my culture, being Dominican. So, a bridge. That's how I see myself. A bridge, a branch.
The stamp that I put on is anything and everything is possible. I mean, my name says it for itself, lasts forever. I feel like I've helped open up doors for many different artists, other people. And I want to continue to be able to do that. Continue to open up doors, continue to guide people as far as like the artists. And not only that, but give them something that they haven't gotten.
I want to say I had sexiness with a touch of class. I love it when we go out to the open mics and to other poetry shows. A lot of times people are doing just stuff about life experiences, conscious pieces, just whatever you would find, just like regular stuff. Nobody really talks about love. Nobody really talks about intimacy. And I paved the way for those who want to, but who was afraid. So I'm pretty much that voice for people who want to get out there, but who just didn't know how to.
If the poetry was a painting, I think the section that I would have carved out for myself would be like, it's one that's kind of like abstract a little bit, maybe a little edgy, probably some bold colors or rough edges or lines or some shit like that. But but it has nuance to it also. I think it's the part of the painting where you look at it and you're like, oh, okay, that's different. Maybe even a little bit weird, but it's dope though. Might not be for everybody, but it's dope. I like to think that's what I've done with my work. I found that lane of using humor to sneak like a deeper, smarter message across, and sometimes just being flat out ridiculous. Just because it's okay to have fun with poetry. So that's one of the things that I've tried to do is have fun with it. It shouldn't be something you hate doing, or that is difficult to do. Although it can be, but I think it should be something that gives you life. Not sucks it out of you. So that's what I've tried to do. That's the lane I've tried to kind of develop for myself. I think that's what my legacy would be.
For me, on the canvas is that connection with people, and there are just these pieces that I've been allowed to put together that just really connect to the heart of people, and that's what I love. I don't necessarily do it so that somebody can walk up to me at the bar and say, "Oh, I appreciate the way you made me feel." But fortunately, that's the result of what I've been able to do. So just being able to connect with people and being able to touch that part of people that makes them feel alive or that makes them feel important. That's what I do in the art, and there's nothing to replace that for me. So that would be my place on the canvas. Like Infrared is the guy that connects with people.
The stamp that I carved out was just like the willingness to be better, creativity. Oh, and I think like my a lot, like I'm so alive, like I'm just alive on stage, like that too, like I let go, I surrender, but I'm also just like so alive. Like I want you all to really like see what it is, like paint a picture for you all, like haha, canvas, paint a picture for you all. I want you to see exactly what I am trying to portray, like crystal clear, like you don't have any question in your mind. You know exactly what's going on.
There's definitely a stroke of support on there. Also, there's a stroke of bravery, courage. There's a stroke of resilience. And I just have to throw this in there because it wouldn't be me if I didn't. Is that I empower the young people who are coming up after me. Those are the people I want to know me. The people that have come before me, I honor greatly. But the people that are coming after me, that's my flock. And so for me, the strokes from Yo Sis in the Atlanta poetry painting will mostly come from people that aren't even born yet.
Anything I left off, anything you just want to put into it, anything you want to give? Doesn't have to be, I'm just checking.
We back up in this motherfucker. How about that?